What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, I'm still croaky, but man, there's a new Sakuyamon coming, and this one looks really fun. Not the first time we've seen Sakuyamon in the Digimon TCG, but the first time I've started getting pretty gosh darned excited, and in a rather lovely turn of events. We've just had kind of the whole evolution line revealed nice and quickly, so we can actually look at the whole evolution line, which is not something we get to do often with reveals, and that makes me pretty gosh darn happy that there are a bunch of cards we're going to be going through, so let's start off. So we've got Pokemon coming in here, level 2. Very close to Pokemon, just putting that out there. On your turn, once per turn, when you used an option card with a cost of 2 or more, draw a card. That's ridiculous, incidentally. Play a 2-cost option card and draw a card to replace it. That is an absolutely ridiculous skill. I've talked a lot in these videos about the fact that the Digimon TCG does not have much of a draw engine. It's just not the kind of thing that Digimon tends to do. Now you're telling me that you can draw a card every time you play an option card, as long as it's not a 1 or 0 cost option card? Yeah. I cannot be the only one that thinks that is absolutely ridiculous and brilliant and awesome. This is going to make a little bit of a difference. Moving over into the level 3, we've got Renamon here. And what we've got is a free cost to play normally, 0 cost to Digivolve, 1000 power. So we look at the 1000 power and we go, ooh, does that mean it's going to be something spicy? The answer is, hopefully. When you play, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and you add a card with Cubamon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon in its name, and 1 Rika Nanaka to your hand. So it's another one of those, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and maybe you find what you want, maybe you don't, that's not the point. You can get a Digimon, and you can get a Tamer, and we've seen the ruling a billion times at this stage. But just to confirm, you do not have to hit both. If you just hit the Tamer, you just take the Tamer. If you just hit the Digimon, you just take the Digimon. You do not have to hit them both, which obviously makes a big difference. So, in terms of consistency, we're going all the way up to Sakuyamon here, like I said. This is just a lovely place. You're just adding a whole bunch of consistency, and it's no more expensive to play than normal. This is good. Plus, we've got an inheritable skill on your turn, once per turn. When you use an option card with a memory cost of 2 or more, gain a memory. So if you've got a level 4 and you've gone from Pokemon to Renamon into your level 4, and then you use an option card that's a cost of 2 or more, you draw a card and you gain a memory. And it is once per turn, but it's once per turn per Digimon evolved from Renamon and Pokemon. What that means is, if I've got 2 level 4s, both have a Pokemon and a Renamon underneath, I play a 2-cost option card, I gain 2 memory, so I've basically paid nothing, and I draw 2 cards. If you can get these rolling, this is absolutely flat out preposterously great. Now, moving up into the level 4, we've got Cubamon here. 6 cost to play normally, 2 cost to Digivolve, 5000 power. That is actually quite expensive to play for a level 4, but we're going to be Digivolving up, so we don't really care. When you Digivolve, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you add an option card with plugin in its name among them to your hand. Placing the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, we've seen 2 plugins so far. We'll look at again at the end of the video. One of them we've previously looked at, one of them we haven't. But they're option cards. And we've already seen how much we like option cards. There are a lot of advantages. Now you're telling me that as well as having a level 3 that can search out my Digimon and Tamer, I've now got a level 4 that can search out these option cards I want to be playing. This is building up into a nuts combo. Oh yeah, and also on your turn, once per turn as an inheritable skill, when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon loses 2000 power for the turn, which is like the classic yellow thing, yeah? Lowering power, classic yellow. That is what yellow really like to do. So that's what you're doing here rather nicely. Lowering power, having fun, jobs are good 'em. So now I play an option card with a cost of 2 or more, and I'm gaining a memory, drawing a card, and dropping one of my opponent's Digimon down 2,000 power, knowing that, of course, if I've got multiple Digimon with this inheritable skill in play, then I can use it multiple times, and they can all activate off of a single option card, and it's starting to build up kind of dumb. Moving up into level 5s, we've got Cubamon, and we've got an 8 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 7,000 power. Slightly more expensive to play normally, but you're going to be Digivolving up, so you shouldn't care. And when you Digivolve, you may play a Rika Nanaka from your hand without paying its cost. So that Tamer, and yes, we've seen a Tamer, we'll get there in a moment, you can just play it for free. It's one you're going to be playing in this deck, and you can play it for free. Reminds me very much of the Cyberdramon we looked at just the other day, that when you play it, lets you play a Ryo Akiyama from your hand without paying its cost. That seems to be a bit of a theme going on, frankly, in this particular set. Remember, EX2 is a special themed set, so that does make a little bit of sense. And, I mean, I don't need to tell you this, right? Playing Tamers for free is great, because it means if a Tamer comes out as a security card, you play it for free. And if the Tamer ends up in your hand, you draw into it, wait till you Digivolve up into Cubamon, and then play it for free. I cannot be the only one that thinks that is a wonderful, wonderful combo. Basically means that whatever's going on, your Rika Nanaka should be hitting the field without actually paying any memory, and that's clearly a good thing. Oh yeah, plus you got an inheritable skill. When you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon loses 2,000 power for the turn. It is, interestingly enough, the exact same inheritable skill as we saw on Cubamon, but it means you get to lower by 4,000. But it's really important to note they are different activations. What that means is I can, just drop one of my opponent's Digimon down by 4,000 if I want to, if that's what I'm into, but I could also drop 2 different ones down by 2,000 each if I prefer. 2 lots of 2,000 is way better than 1 lot of 4,000, because it opens up your other options, lets you spread it around. It's just a better way of doing things. So this is frankly pretty gosh darned awesome. Yep, there's a lot going on here. And we're not even done, so we haven't even got up to Sakuyamon here. Securemon, 12 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 11,000 power. Like we've seen from all of them, slightly more expensive to play than we would like. We'd be expecting an 11 cost normally, but you're going to be Digivolving up, so nobody really cares. And when you Digivolve, you want to spend one of your Digimon, which is obviously a good thing. And then for each Tamer you have, you return one option card with plugin in its name from your trash to your hand. So I've been telling you all video about the fact that what you really want to be doing here is playing a bunch of option cards with a cost of 2 or more. That's the goal. That's what makes this deck tick. Well, the plugins have a cost of 2 or more, at least the 2 we've seen so far do. I suspect they all do. And now you get to get them all back in your hand, so you get to play them all and go a little bit nuts. Oh yeah, speaking of which, on your turn, when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon loses 3,000 power for the turn. And if we take a little bit of a look at the card, you'll notice there's something missing, but it's a good thing. You see that little box that says once per turn, that incidentally is there on all of the other skills, is not there for Sakuyamon. Which means if you keep playing 2 cost option cards, you can keep lowering the power of your opponent's Digimon. This is not a once per turn skill, though all the others are. So the first time you play a 2 cost option card, assuming you've got Sakuyamon and the whole line rolling, your Pokemon lets you draw a card, then your Renamon lets you gain a memory, then Cubamon lets you lower a Digimon by 2,000, and Cubamon lets you lower a Digimon by 2,000. And then Sakuyamon lets you lower a Digimon by 3,000. And that could be one Digimon by 7,000, or it could be a 2 and then a 2 and then a 3, meaning that your opponent is, getting decimated in terms of little Digimon, etc. Or you lower a bunch of their Digimon, so then you actually start battling, and all of your opponent's Digimon just so happen to be a little bit weaker than yours, and then you go and win. And that's my point here. There's so much going on. And then, like I say, you can play additional 2 cost option cards, and you will get extra minus 3,000 with Sakuyamon, but you won't get all of the other skills. That is very important. You have to play the whole line here. If you're not playing the whole line, this isn't good enough. But Digivolving up, underspending one of your Digimon, getting all these plugins back, and then starting this run of playing option cards and getting all the advantages and wrecking your opponent's board, that sounds good to me, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds good. Now, I keep telling you about these plugins. What have we actually got? Well, the other day I showed you Attack Plugin A. And the first thing to note is, hang on a second, Wassy, that's a red plugin. What are you doing to me? This is a yellow deck we're talking about. But if you have any tamer in play, you may use this option card without meeting its colour requirements, i.e. you must have a red Digimon or any tamer in play in order to play this card. And what it does is it gives one of your Digimon security attack +1 for the turn. Now, bearing in mind, when you Digivolve up into Sakuyamon here, you are underspending one of your Digimon, so potentially giving extra security attack and underspending and all of that, that is going to let you go through security cards a little bit faster. Also, as a security effect, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, put a tamer in your hand, and then put this card in your hand, which is obviously going to help to have some big turns in the future. Now, that's the one we've seen so far, but we've also seen Super Evolution Plugin S, which is a green option card. But again, if you've got any tamer in play, you can use it ignoring its colour requirements. So you must have either a green Digimon or any tamer in play, and then you can use it. Draw 1. Then you may Digivolve into a Digimon in your hand with a Digivolution cost of 3 or more without paying its memory cost. A very green skill. Green love lowering Digivolution costs. Now here's the thing. Generally speaking, playing a 2-cost option card and then you're reducing the evolution cost by 3 at the most, it's not ideal. Generally speaking. Now, the drawing 1 helps, don't get me wrong, drawing 1 and lowering an evolution cost from 3 to 2 is fine, but it's not exactly amazing. But you'll notice that the most expensive this line gets is Sakuyamon and Taomon that are free cost to Digivolve. So anything can Digivolve for free with this. And you're not paying 2 memory. If everything goes well, you're lowering the Digivolution cost essentially by 1. You're taking it from 3 down to nothing, but you're paying 2 memory. But then you're gaining a memory because you played a card with an option cost 2 or more. And Renamon's in play. So now it's a 1-cost card that brings you down from 3 to 0. So now you're saving 2 memory and drawing a card. And if you've got multiple Renamon out, job's a good un. The other thing to note is Renamon does not say you reduce the cost of an option card by 1. It says when you play the option card, you gain a memory. And that's really important. Because if I've got 3 Digimon evolved from Renamon, and I play Super Evolution Plugin S, good news. I'm actually paying -1 memory. If I'm lowering the cost, I cannot lower it to less than 0. But what I'm actually doing is paying 2 memory, and then I've got 3 Digimon that's Digivolved from Renamon, so I'm gaining 3 memory back. So I end up with 1 memory more than I started, and I'm Digivolving for free, and I'm drawing a card. That is how this can get dumb, and that's why I get excited about this line. Now, those are the 2 plugins we've seen so far. There is a decent chance there are more out there. We will have to wait and see when the rest of the set gets revealed. It is interesting to note that numbers-wise, the 2 we've seen are number 66 and number 70. So we know there are a bunch more option cards. They may or may not be plugins. We don't know. But there is certainly room for some plugins in the set. That's the best I can tell you. But we also need to look at Rika Nanaka here, because of course, she fits into this whole thing as well. Remember, when you did your into Taomon, you can play her for free. Now we've got a 4-cost tamer. That is expensive for tamers, so we really want to be playing for free. That's as high as they get. It's got that standard skill at the start of your turn. If you've got 2 or less memory, set it to free. Fairly standard, we've seen it a bunch, but it's still good. And on your turn, when you're Digimon with Renamon, Cubamon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon in their name attacks, you may suspend this tamer to use an option card with plugin in its name in your hand without paying its memory cost. That's ridiculous. Because when you put this all together, now remember, your Sakuyamon should mean that you've actually got these plugins in your hand, and that's great. So now I'm playing Super Evolution Plugin S for nothing, and I'm evolving actually for free, and I'm drawing a card. But remember, I'm not just playing for free, because Renamon is going to allow me to gain memory, even though I'm actually playing it for free. It's not how much you pay, it is how much the printed cost of the card is. And my Pokemon here is going to be drawing me cards. And Cubamon and Talmon and Sakuyamon are going to be lowering the power of my opponent's Digimon. And that's just awesome. When you put all of this together, sure, you're really relying on these option cards, and yeah, you've got to really play this line as a whole. But what you've got here is cheap evolution, or free evolution sometimes, free option cards, gaining memory, decent draw engine, and lowering your opponent's power, not to mention underspending and getting extra security attacks. That is a lot, and this is worth getting very, very excited about. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.